Gonna do some river
Yes,
dancing.
we got to bring out that fight music, you know,
Look
that
at my new
last music right there. We gotta welcome our guy.
It's the Ben and Jay show live from Ireland. I'm just kidding.
What's
Are
up,
you worship us live
everybody?
from Ireland?
It's the Ben and Jay show. We had to spice it up a little bit with some of that Irish flair because we have a special guest, all the way from what you say, Ben, all the way from across the pond.
All the way
That
across the pond in Ireland.
all the way across the pond in Ireland. We got a special guest here today. I can't wait for you guys to hear his amazing story about what he does, and how he does it, and just a couple other questions and answers that we have cooked up for my man Jude here. So, first thing I just want to make sure is everybody knows that this webinar is made possible by Access Services. Access Services is a nonprofit serving 11 counties in eastern Pennsylvania with the mission to create better ways to serve people with special needs. They've been doing it for 44 years and are only expanding their services as they bend to fit the needs of those in eastern Pennsylvania. So, Ben, not only do we have this wait, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear his accent, instantly melt. It's just you can't get mad at this
Exactly.
guy right here. But before we get into that, Ben, tell our audience what they could possibly win as far as gifts here today.
You know what? Today we are actually doing and we decided we're gonna do a $5, or do you want to do a $10 Philly? What do you want to do, Jamiel? It's up to you.
Hey, listen, man, I'm feeling a little frisky today. I know it's only Tuesday, but you know what? It's warm over here.
It's
A
warm
couple
over
of
here
the
too. You know what?
counties
I'm
are
just gonna go with
green.
$10 Philly pretzel gift certificate. The two $5 gift certificates to the Philly Pretzel Factory, and or what else? Is that it, or are we doing something else? I heard.
What we doing? We're going to do another one?
I think we are we?
Are we? We going to go ahead. Throw them another one, man. Throw them another bone. We could get two winners. We could get two winners. What's the other one you got for them today?
I think we're gonna do. Should you want to do Olive Garden, or would you rather do Tony Roni's?
Let's do Olive Garden. Let's get people out and about. Let's do Olive Garden. Ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen,
a
you have a
$50
chance.
gift certificate to Olive Garden that you could possibly win today. And
That's
I
right,
will
ladies
send you
and
that
gentlemen.
email code when you win it.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody who registered for the actual show today, we're going to be placing your emails in a raffle and be picking them at the end of the show. Actually, the mayor, aka Ben, right there, the man, is going to be picking them at the end of the show. So please stay tuned towards the end of the actual show to hear your name. So Ben, why don't you introduce yourself to those who are new to the Ben and Jay show?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ben Hartranft. I am a 22 awesome autistic, um, amazing man. I said I'm 22, and I was diagnosed when I was 2. A child should only know 200 words, but I only knew 20. Speech therapist taught me how to talk. Her name was Paul Barson, and now today I just talk, and there's no off button on me. I've been on the Owens show. I've carried the Super Bowl trophy for the Eagles. I've been successful in my life. I drive, I work, and I also am hoping to do more of these shows. And I love doing these shows because we all have to remember that we all need to be kind to one another in this world. Jamel, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
How was your commute to work today?
Oh, for me, I didn't I,
Yeah,
I, didn't- I didn't have to drive. I didn't have to go to work or anything. I have training tonight for the fire department that I volunteer with up here. So I'm doing training tonight, but I'm
that's
here.
good.
I'm home. You
That's
know,
good. You
me
know
and
what?
my
My
son
commute
moved
was
in.
great, except I like took order a nap today. But I felt great. I didn't. It was fine. I made it here to
Good,
work on time.
good. There you go. Just want to let you guys know a little bit about myself. My story isn't as fabulous as Ben, aka the mayor over there, but it holds a little bit of weight. My name is Jamiel Owens, creator, host of the Ausome Show, which I created a couple of years ago. I was actually on online radio, and I created that as a platform to allow fathers to actually speak about their feelings, their thoughts, and their ideas when it comes to autism. All too far often, we see a lot of fathers who use their egos and a little bit of other self motivation drivers to get them through navigating with their child on the spectrum. And unfortunately, that could cause negative impact when it comes down to them and their family. I know this all too personal because I went through it. So instead of hindering all of my growth and things that I've learned, I created that platform in order to do that. Now, what happened though is that this man right here, Ben, aka the
I
mayor, and his
actually
wife
called
Glenn,
you. I was on
exactly.
your
Well,
show.
not only
I was on your show, and I said,
exactly.
you thought you were blown away. You're amazing. And
Yep.
then I did a World Autism Day webinar in April. And
Yep.
how this happened, it was all God, I think. I was ready going for a run, coming home, and I said, I really want to start a show. I called up Jamiel and I said, yo, let's start a show. And he was like, yo, I was just thinking the same thing. Let's do it.
Yep.
Okay, what do you want to do? And he goes, let's do the Ben and Jay show. And I said, all right, we'll do it. So we basically put our minds together of like who guests we're gonna have on, and it turned out to be very successful.
Yep. And we're only getting started. We got a long way to go. So let me get to this so we can definitely get to the man of the hour right here, besides Ben, of course. But
Yes,
I
sir.
just want to basically start off by saying normalcy is currently in a state of flux. What we did a year ago today doesn't apply. Two invisible threats have made its ugly way into the limelight. One smaller than the naked eye, and the other that has been present for years, continuing to be swept under the rug. And now we are tired of tripping over it. But just imagine your life being labeled to fit
Oh,
inside of a box.
okay,
Now,
finish.
see a man that has turned his life journey, into a book, not only to help him and his son bond on a deeper level, but also anyone who might just be like him. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, there goes Jude. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into Jude Morrow's story just one moment, but we would like to remind everyone to take some time and check out our last Thursday's panel discussion,
Yeah.
Autism and Police Interactions, which Jude was a guest and he spoke a little bit about. It was amazing discussion with a panel full of guests. Shout out to Judge Andrea Duffy, who is going
Hmm.
to be a part of our second part series.
And then
Off,
we have an announcement for that date. You ready for the announcement?
great. We're going to do that at the end of the show. We
We'll do
want
it at the
people to
end of the
hold
show.
on
Okay,
to that
that's
date.
fine. We'll do it.
Definitely.
I'll keep it secret.
All right. And Officer Victor Manchis, as well as all the parents, caregivers, and advocates. Thank you for being on that. We look forward to you possibly being on the second one. You can check this out on YouTube at PA Access Services. That's all one word. Or you could go to Ben and Jay Show on YouTube as well, and it'll pop up. We'll be
That's
having a
excellent.
part two as we found and see that the need for this discussion is greatly needed. So stay tuned for information regarding that. Ben just said at the end of the show. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our guest today is an awesome adult, father, author, a man that you could never get mad at because of his accent. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. The incredible Jude Morrow. What's going on, man? Hey, man.
All
Welcome
the
to
way from
the
Ireland.
welcome
Thank
to
you
the
so
Ben and
much.
Jay show, man.
And I'm absolutely delighted to be here. And that's the first time people have played Irish music for my intro. So thanks very much for that.
There you go. We got to make you feel at home, man. This is your second home now. Your
Oh, it
family.
is.
So
Oh, it is. And I
yeah.
mean, I'm going to make myself right at home to the point where you're going to start charging me rent soon.
Definitely, definitely. I don't know about the rent part. We'll definitely welcome you here. You can stay as long as you want
Uh,
to. You know,
That's fine. That's
it's
fine.
definitely
I'll
going
take
to
that
be a good
offer.
time. Definitely going to be a good time. Well, let's get into this interview. I know a lot of people are just really interested in your story. Ben, take it away. You got
I
questions
got you.
one
I
and
got
two.
you, Jamal. Hey, Jude, it's so good to connect with you. Connect with you. Can you tell me a little bit about your story, about
Well,
yourself?
my story is quite similar to yours, Ben. I had challenges early in life. I went to speech therapy as well. I wasn't diagnosed as autistic quite as early as you at two. I had to wait until I was 11. and I went to a mainstream school, which for the mid 1990s was quite rare because autistic children in the UK and Ireland would typically have gone to special needs schools. So I was one of the first waves of children to go to a mainstream school, and it wasn't easy. I didn't make friends easily. I needed to go to speech therapy as well to communicate more effectively with my peers. And I had a classroom assistant follow me pretty much everywhere
Hmm.
throughout the school day, and I needed a lot of extra support and guidance from the teaching staff. But I got through school, and as I was saying, I had so many difficulties with social interactions that whenever it came to 18, I had to pick a university course to study that was best suited for me. And of course, I had to get into social work, and that's the job that I do now and have been doing for the past 8 years. And I think it's a bit of a misconception that autistic people are into science, technology, engineering, and mathematical careers, and autistic people don't tend to work with other people. And I hope that I can break the mold on that. And then, whenever I'd graduated from university as a social worker, shortly afterward, I became a dad, and my son Ethan was born in July 2013. And we have a bit of a different dynamic wherein I'm autistic and he isn't, because so much literature and information out there is written by non-autistic parents with autistic children, whereas with us, we're the other way around. And my school experience and Ethan's school experience were so different that I wanted to write it down in my book for him to read because I mean we're different, him and I, and that's great that we are. We get glimpses into each other's universes, but being autistic was something I didn't accept very easily. I didn't like it. I wasn't always proud of it, and I tried so hard to fit in with everyone else. And I suppose as a young man, I had a lot of scars into adulthood, and the
Well,
ever-changing landscape of fatherhood was something I didn't cope with very easily. And it came to a point where Ethan asked what I hope will become the most iconic question in all of literature, which was this one, which was, why does daddy always look so sad? And I suppose at that point I knew that I had to go on a self acceptance, self love journey of my own to improve my relationship with him. And I have done.
Wow, wow, that's pretty cool.
that
I
is.
want to give. I was thinking in my brain. Shout out to all the caregivers, special ed assistants,
Yep.
everybody who helps people every day. You guys are amazing. Speaking of which, I just wanted to piggyback on what you said. Um, I went to a preschool when I was 3, and I remember this guy's name was John, and I used to take his hat a lot, and he goes, like sometimes assistance and aides are really helping you to be successful. After 22 years, I finally connected with him on Facebook, and he was like, "You're 22 now?" I said, "Yeah." So it's been a shout out to John from Easter Seals. You're my man.
Yo, John, shout out to you, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's definitely
And I had a lot of help and support through school and with my parents and sister Emily, who've been great, and I'd be absolutely nowhere without them. So I agree with you in giving
Yeah.
the shout out to the
And
caregivers.
shout out to my
Absolutely.
brothers, Dan and Gwen. They're not autistic, but they think in different ways. Like both my brothers are dyslexic.
mm.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's very interesting. I learn from different stuff every week from this show.
So you guys are just talking about caregivers and everything. Okay, so my son Shane actually went to a preschool that actually teaches actually it's a daycare, excuse me, that teaches pre-K uh, schooling. So it was called Apple Child Care. And I have to give a shout out to them because um, this is when we were living in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, there was a moment in time where some of the aides that were sent by the school district of Philadelphia were unacceptable. A lot of times they were young kids who was just there just to get paid, constantly on their phone, not tending to my son because at that time he needed a lot of assistance. These young girls that work at Apple Child Care, in Philadelphia and Longshore, if you're looking for a nice place to send your child, these young girls took very much care of my son, to the point where I stayed and I act as if I was his aide for 2 weeks until the school district found a replacement. And in that time, I kind of fell back and let the girls do what they need to. And he fell in line very quickly. He was able to converse with a lot of the kids there and really just go towards the path of learning. So shout out to those girls. They probably don't even remember my son. If I bring them there now, they'd be like, "You got a whole grown man here. What are y'all doing here?" But yeah, definitely. They were really they need to be saluted as far as the growth for my son. So definitely, when you guys were talking about that, I
And a
wanted to
special
shout them
shout
out.
out to Easter Seals too.
Definitely shout out.
Preschool Easter Seals is
Definitely.
the best. And if you have any questions or any parents out there who want to know about early intervention services, please call me. Please call Jamiel. Call my mom and dad. We'll give you as much advice as we can. But seriously, any parents listening out there, please just call me. Seriously, we are here for you.
There you go, Ben. You got a question too.
Absolutely. With everything that's going on over in America, can regarding equally with your perseveration. Wait, hold on, I gotta pronounce this
I
word.
think you were talking about regarding equality, and you were saying, what is your perspective?
Perspective. Thank you. I'm sorry, I couldn't read it right on
No problem.
this topic, being that you're from another country.
Well, equality is something, and it saddens me about the human race, the fact that people have to demand or protest for equality, and that there are more oppressed groups within society. I mean, even in this webinar alone, the autistic community, the African American community, or even the Black community, all throughout the world, and equality isn't exactly treating everybody the same. It is giving people the attention and respect that is deserved. Um, I mean, what's really got to me uh, recently in regard, I mean, the Black Lives Matter movement, I mean, it's a movement that is essential, but people countering those with all lives matter. I mean, it's so easy to see that that African Americans and Black people all over the world have been oppressed for centuries and even millennia, and that can't be just disregarded so simply. And I think that in this day and age, I mean, equality is an absolute must, and we're all in this together. And I think we all need to have a more humanitarian view toward one another and simply be kind to one another. That's what I honestly believe, and it's so strange for me to try and advocate for something that should come naturally to people. And it really saddens me the fact that it simply doesn't. I mean, looking at the events of the past, I mean, month or so in the United States following the tragic, I mean, murder of George Floyd, and that the fact that another human being would place their knee on another human being's neck until they died, it was just such a sad day for humanity, and the fact that people are expressing their outrage at this is entirely justified, and the fact that people would try and suppress that outrage, which is entirely justifiable, is something which escapes me completely. And I suppose whenever I try to figure it out, I just get migraines, to be honest.
Hmm.
I just wanted to piggyback what Jude said.
Hmm.
I loved how you said that we are all in this together, and I like the expression that you gave on Thursday night about the bad apple.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think there's so many people out there that would say, "Oh well, society just has bad apples in it, and we just have to get on with it." That's not true. I mean, we can't have the attitude that there are some bad apples. I mean, not that just can't be. We can't accept that. That is simply part of the problem. That
Yeah.
I mean, acknowledging that bad apples exist. I mean, even for Ben, I'm sure you can empathize with this. I mean, in your schooling, I mean, I'm sure you had understanding, compassionate, caring teachers, and then there was some who were maybe not as progressive as others.
Yeah,
And
I actually have a quick story about that. I don't know if I ever told you, Jude, but I was in third and fourth grade, and I said this on the show a couple of times. My school district gave up on me for reading and writing. They said, "You're never going to read, you're never going to write." And my mom and dad literally took the school to the next level. And we basically said, "Look, you need to do this for my son." So so I went to a different school called the Talk Institute in Philadelphia, and they taught me how to read and write. I'm so thankful for those teachers, because if I didn't go to that school, I would have never known how to read or write. Shout out to the Talk Institute in Newtown Square. Thank you for doing what you guys do. And if anybody's having problem with that, please give me a call. Seriously. And that school really taught me how to do whatever we need to do in life. It just taught me how to be successful. It taught me how to do what we all need to do in life.
Definitely. The one question Jude, you actually touched on, and me especially as being a father, it is very, very intriguing to hear, and that's because their roles, just like you said, are reversed. Normally, you hear about stories like me, where I'm not on the spectrum and my son are, but your son is not on the spectrum, but you are. Can you just talk a little bit more about your experience with that, what you're going through now, and also more about your book, so people can understand some of the knowledge that is obtained in that book?
yeah, of course, as an autistic man now, I was once an autistic child. And biology dictates that the average human lives around 74 years around the world. And your son will one day be an autistic man and maybe an autistic parent. It might be hard for you to envisage, but I mean, there's autistic parents of autistic children seem to ask a lot of questions like, how is school going to be for them? How is work going to be for them? Are they going to have a relationship or a wife or a family of their own? And they're questions that my parents asked about me. And although my parents did have their triumphs and troubles, and whenever I was a small child, the first 18 years of my life went like that, gone in the blink of an eye, and all of a sudden I was to navigate the world, and that's what my book is really about. The fact that for so long they thought, what's going to happen when he's a grown man? And I'm going to be a grown man for longer than I ever was a child.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God willing, if I live another 50 years or so, maybe. And whenever I became a dad, I thought when I was young, around that time, whenever Ethan was born in 2013, I thought that autism was just for small people. You know, the usual stereotypical view of autism as the white male child in the corner building things.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst, of course, I was that, I grew up. And the, whenever I was maybe 21 or 22, I thought being autistic was something that I'd left behind. And whenever Ethan was sleeping, eating, playing at different times of the day, the my loss of control, or what I perceived to be control, and that loss of routine and being in control of my own days affected me deeply to the point where Ethan could pick it up. And Ethan asking the question, why does daddy always look so sad?
Mm-hmm.
Is something that I wouldn't have been able to do for my mother and father because I wouldn't have understood at such a young age. Like Ethan was 3 when he asked that. And I knew that I was in constant denial. I knew I was different, but I didn't want to acknowledge it to anyone for any reason whatsoever. And whenever Ethan asked that question, I needed to take steps to improve my relationship with him. Some positive decisions I made, like going for therapies like CBT and psychotherapy, and then other maybe not so positive decisions that are outlined in more detail in the book.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely. Just one pinpoint I want to put in there. You are going to live a very, very long life. Average life expectancy of those in Ireland are actually 81.96 years, and that was back in 2017. So we're in 20, so you can add a couple more years to that.
Not
So
bad.
I think
81.
81.
I dare say that's higher than the United States. I would bet that's higher than the USA. Is it?
I believe so. We're going to do some more research on that, but you're going to be in there, buddy, for the long haul. You definitely are. That's good to know.
I'll see us all off. Maybe not Ben because I'm so
Oh,
much older than him, but
there you go. There you go. Just reading over the book, and I'm still actually reading it right now. To those who are just basically listening in, tuning in, um, the harsh reality is true. Is what you said is that my son is going to become a man one day, sooner than later, as he's already growing, and by God's grace, he'll actually be a family man, a father, someone who will be functional to full capacity, whatever that may be, because we all have different perspectives of what that is in life. And this book kind of takes me outside of what my actual tunnel vision is currently seeing right now. And that is to be a father, to provide for him, to make sure he's okay after I'm gone. And it gives me a different twist to see almost into his future of what it may actually be like. So I definitely do suggest that everyone goes out there and purchases the book. A next question that I have for you, Jude, very simple, but it's going to give a powerful statement. Is I have one word. I'm going to say it. Just tell me what the first thing that comes to your mind is, and that word is autistic.
gifted. And the reason for that is whenever we go back and talk about the equality thing, I'm going to expand on it a bit here and now.
Mhm.
Whenever you look up the dictionary definition of what autism or what being autistic is, the world view and the medical view would be that it is a disorder characterized by repetitive and obsessive behaviors. But without that, those words, I mean, what about passionate and driven? I mean, could you imagine someone saying to Einstein when he was a child, an autistic child and an autistic young man, stop worrying about the universe, stop obsessing about the universe? We wouldn't
Mhm.
have the theory of relativity as it's known today. Or what about Mozart? I mean, if someone said, nah, stop writing music, I mean, do
That's
something else,
that's
stop
that's a
obsessing about
pretty
it.
good point.
Mhm.
Beethoven and Mozart had autism.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yep.
not I think that's beyond doubt now at this stage from looking back at their personal writings and their styles of
They
working, which
said
are very very well
their
documented.
mentor said, "Stop writing. Don't do this. You should not listen to them." I would say
Mhm.
no. I would say you continue what you wanted to start, and you be
Mhm.
successful whatever you want to do.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's what the problem is with mainstream education systems is that autistic children maybe have some passions and desires suppressed in order to more or less meet the needs of the school as opposed to the
Mhm.
child themselves. Because for all we know, an autistic child somewhere on this planet formulated the chemical cure for cancer, but an ignorant teacher said, "Stop worrying about those chemical formulations," and it's gone until someone else comes up with it again.
You are definitely preaching on this answer right here. I didn't expect for this, but you are definitely
I
preaching on
don't
this.
know how you do that, but you're pretty amazing. Honestly, I
Freddie, he
people with
is amazing.
people
He
with
is
autism
extraordinary.
are so different, and I don't know. Sometimes I
Yeah.
can't think on that high notes or some of that stuff. I just think
Um,
about I'm energetic, so I'm like going out and just talking to people.
hey, Jude, Ben is being too humble. This guy is extraordinary too. I'm surrounded by greatness. That's all I can say.
Oh,
Hey,
he
folks,
is being too humble. I mean, Ben is being too humble. And funny enough, a mentor of mine, I said this in a Facebook Live video earlier, because people had said to me, why do you not post reviews of your book up on your author page or your Instagram or social medias or anything? And I said, because I don't really like blowing my own trumpet, which is kind of talking about myself or praising myself. And he said, well, if you don't blow your own trumpet, nobody will hear your tune. And I thought, that's a pretty good point. But
Mhm.
I mean, with Ben, I'll agree with Jamiel on that one. You're being far too humble, I think.
Of course, he is. But that's the mayor. That's what he does. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm surrounded by great. Hey, Jude, I want to give the audience a chance to view a sample of your extraordinary perspective when you giving your book, Why Does Daddy Always Look So Sad? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a clip from YouTube we want to play for you when we come back from that clip right now. Ben's got the next question, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to get Robin. She has a question for you. Let's take a look at this clip.
Wonder which one it is.
I suppose this is the reason why we can be considered more like ghosts than people. I came to the sobering realization that I had alienated everyone. I often thought I didn't want to live a long life full of hurdles and challenges. Would my life be one challenge after another? The answer to this question is yes, but I realized there was hope for me and that I could overcome them in a healthy way. Ethan asking why I looked so sad haunted me, and I came to a fork in the road. It was now time to decide what direction the rest of my life would take. I couldn't continue creating public images of myself for the rest of my life. These futile attempts often caused me stress that couldn't be hidden from Ethan. My family were withdrawing from me too. I simply could not listen to their advice, and I only pursued the option that felt most comfortable to me. All I wanted was to bring some order and clarity to my life. The second path would be the dark and misty path I often refused to go down. The path to accepting I had Asperger's and coming to terms with it. When I arrived at this emotional fork in the road, I realized that I always went down the path that was familiar to me. Although this was a path well traveled, it always had negative consequences and led me back to where I was. I realized I had encountered this decision many times and couldn't continue my impossible task of hiding who I was. I was at home alone while Ethan was with his mom. I sat on his bed and held his bear. I stared at his colorful posters and lay on his bed with my feet extending far beyond the bottom of his mattress. A thought occurred to me as I lay on Ethan's tiny bed.
Amazing, amazing,
Amazing.
simply amazing.
That is pretty cool. I
Definitely.
honestly am blown away. Shout out to that video. And yeah, I just think, wow, wow.
It
Once
definitely is amazing. Ben, you got the next question. Question number
I'm
6.
ready to go when you are, Jamiel. All right, so we did the YouTube video. Jude, how is it to be a caseworker and have autism? What are your everyday struggles?
Um, well, in times gone by, I would have been very much I had a struggles focused mindset. I've worked in different fields of social work now. I've worked in mental health, learning disability, and primary care for the elderly. And I didn't always like sudden emergencies. I didn't like any disruption to my pre-planned day. Uh, those were things I very much struggled with. The unexpected, basically. I didn't really learn to expect the unexpected early on in my career, but I had to develop that as time went on. But I kind of changed my focus into what my strengths are in my work, wherein if I encounter or I'm told of a crisis by a service user or family member, then being able to look at the situation logically, being able to dissect it, examine each piece individually, and then formulate a plan and say, right, okay, this is what we're going to do. I think that logical kind of autistic brain wiring has served me really well up to now. Um, I'm very much a solutions-based person. I always have been, I suppose, from whenever I was young. And that, okay, yes, I acknowledge and appreciate the concern. However, let's work on what we can do to overcome it together. And I think it's really served me well up to now.
Definitely. Definitely. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. You got the next one, Ben.
All right, I'm ready to go when you are, Jamiel. Sorry about that. Jude, what is your thoughts about life? Are you happy and why?
I am happy. And I'll tell you the reason why I'm happy is because I feel like I've been awakened. Even as an autistic person, I was so caught up on the medicalized view of what being autistic is that I viewed myself as an antisocial, empathy lacking, friendless oddball, basically, because that's what the worldview of what being autistic is. The gifted perspective just is not out there. And whenever I went through CBT and psychotherapy, whenever I was 25, I believe 25 and 26, I learned to have a look at my life again and change my lens of perspective on it. Where I thought that I had one challenge after another, but really it was one victory after another to get to where I'd got to up to that point. And I suppose whenever I learned and looking back that I got through school, I got through university, I got through fatherhood, I got my career, got my house and car. I mean, those were all challenges at the time, but looking back on them, it was just one victory after another, and I hope in style as well.
Definitely. Well, one thing, unfortunately, I have to rain on your parade about is that you haven't been done with fatherhood yet. Just wait to the teenage years. It's definitely going to be a challenging part of your growth as a man and a father. Definitely. Hey, Jude, before I
Well,
get into
I look forward to it. I look forward to it.
definitely, you say that now, but just wait. Just wait. Before I get to my next question, Robin, that's actually attendee right now, had a question for you. She said, Jude, I heard your motivation was your son, but what were some of the things that you did to improve your relationship with your son? Was it acknowledging that you have autism, or was it something else? Very good question from Robin.
Well, being autistic, whenever Ethan was young, was something I never thought about because I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to accept it or acknowledge it in any way. The things I did, it was a lot of small steps. It wasn't just a typical cheesy motivational speaker wake up and, oh, I'm autistic, I now accept it, I must now preach to everyone. That's not really how it worked. It was a lot of taking small steps. And the first one really was that kind of letting go of the control, like Ethan being an equal partner in our household. Like if we were doing activities over the weekend or after work or so on, that Ethan had a valid say in it and that he helped construct the routine as well. We instead of me, my autistic mind, and his non-autistic mind constantly kind of clashing, we kind of merged them together to make one. And Ethan, Ethan and I, we're not like two peas in a pod because if one pea is rotten, it'll rot the pea next to it. But I kind of like that because I would be very much a get up and go, let's go and do things kind of person, and Ethan can be a little bit more laid back. So he can relax me at times, and at times I can give him a kick in the behind. So I suppose it was recognizing each other's strengths and using them to make a stronger whole, I suppose, and just keeping it and just communicating more and being more open with him because how could I expect Ethan to accept and love himself and if I couldn't do it for myself? So I suppose I had to practice what I preach and I had to start that and swallow a lot of pride along the way.
Definitely. So you did answer some of my next question, and that is just basically telling us about Ethan, how his personality. But one part of it, I definitely still want to ask you is, has Ethan ever seen you differently than other fathers, like other kids' fathers he may children he may associate with their fathers. Has he ever seen you different or questioned the differences between you and them?
Yes, he actually has, because there's some places in the world that I dislike more than others, pretty much like every person. I don't like, I'm not a fan of children's play areas because they're so unpredictable, bright, flashy lights, lots of smells, lots of running around, a lot of hectic
Mhm.
activity. And Ethan can see that I struggle with those things. And there are times where he would say, how come you don't like this and my friend's dad likes this, or how come you do this at home and they don't do this? He knows that I'm not like him, and I suppose it breeds compassion in him, because if he knows that I don't like something, he'll say, "Okay, we can go now." He has that kind of say. Although on the other hand, because he is a 6-year-old boy, he can use it to push my buttons as well, because he knows what I don't like. He knows that I like things done a certain way, and at times he will just go against the grain to push my buttons, and he has a lot of little fingers of which to push them with.
Definitely. I mean, that's once again, I always say that children is like the closest thing to God that you can actually get. Purity, compassion, things that we actually lack or become callous to, they have every single day. And they're always inquisitive to understand why it affects you and not so much them. So that's definitely a good thing. Here's another question. Now, this came from deep within because I love to learn. I love to learn, whether it's watching a documentary, whether it's reading, whether it's learning something from my son. Is there anything that you can tell us? And that means that people, fathers like myself, who are not on the spectrum, how to be a better father?
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, that's a good one. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard for me to step into the mind of a non-autistic father, in the same way that someone who's colorblind can't perceive or imagine color from another perspective. But what I would say is, it's acceptance is key. It's the main thing. Being autistic is a gift to be cherished. It's not a burden to be pitied. Autistic children are the most gifted, passionate, talented individual that mankind has to offer. And I think those that seek a cure, or anti vaxxers, or any horrible, misinformed groupings that there are out in the world, it just needs to stop. And I think one of the most infuriating things, and again, Ben, I'm sure you will identify with this, is that a lot of people use the word autism to describe a learning disability, when in real life, whilst they can go together, they are also unique and separate at the same time.
It's kind
And
of like my quote: "Everyone's unique and special, just like a rainbow."
Oh,
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah,
And I think, for fathers of autistic children, is nurture their talent, nurture their passions, because it'll do two things. It'll allow the child to bloom and open up and talk about things that they love, and it'll just improve that bond and connection.
definitely. Great response to that. I just learned something off of that. So don't say you can't put yourself in our mind. Sometimes we need something a little bit outside the box to kind of just wake us up and give us that realization that we actually need. Thank you for that. I think a lot of parents who is not suffering from being on the spectrum is it that your message can go a long way, and it can actually transcribe into so many different aspects in lives. Just what you said transcribed a lot for me, and that's just acceptance for my son, who he is. Accept that he loves trains. Accept that he likes to talk about it 50 million times. Accept that he knows the numbers. Accept everything that brings him joy, because in all, it's going to bring me joy. So thank you for that. I hope it brought our audience some joy as well. Hey Ben, you got the next question. You got number 10, buddy.
Got the last one, right? That
Almost.
give a chance to, yeah. So hold on. What would be your message? What would be a message you would like the world to receive and understand about autism?
I can't say it enough. I've always said it, and that being autistic is a gift. It is a different way of thinking. It's a different mode of being. Mankind, in my view, would not have progressed without autistic people, because I'm sure that whenever the Neanderthals were trying to make sparks to make fire, that it was the autistic one that had the passion and the drive to keep going until the thing was done. And
One.
that's just something that doesn't exist. Even the building of the pyramids or the Colossus of Rhodes or anything like that, I mean, these words don't compute to autistic people, and those words are, it can't be done. I mean, if you want a problem solved in this world, it will be an autistic person that will do it. I mean, very soon, hopefully, when if it's solving the racial inequality in the United States over the world or the COVID-19 crisis, I'm sure there's autistic people working on both of those things right now, and will ultimately make the world a better place. And I mean, for me, I didn't really have the chance to meet and talk with autistic kids when I was young. Autistic groups didn't really exist, or they weren't very well known whenever I was a teenager. So whenever I do things like book signings or my own speaking tours, whether they're in person or virtual as they all are now, I just love talking to autistic people because I don't feel as alone in the world. Um, and I mean, we can talk about our own passions and desires, and it's just such a lovely thing. Like it's as therapeutic for me as it is for them who come to listen to me or meet me or whatever.
Definitely, definitely. That's I like that. I like that. They, you know what? It was an autistic person. It was an awesome child, an awesome being that just got that spark going for everybody else to enjoy that warmth. You know what? They definitely get the spark going for everybody who interacts with them. You, Ben, my son, anybody. They get that spark going, that fire inside their heart, that compassion. So definitely a good thing. I like that. Uh, Now, Jude, we just want our audience to be able to relate with you one on one, ask questions. I know a good friend of ours here at the Ben and Jay Show, Alyssa, she has a question for you. So, right now, what we're going to do is we're going to unmute everybody's microphone. We ask that you just be kind and courteous, allow everyone to have a turn. If you do have background noise, please mute your background noise, but the floor is open for Jude to ask any questions. Just make sure you mention your first name so Jude knows who's he's talking to. And the floor is open.
Don't be shy. I don't bite often.
Hi, Jude.
Hey, Alyssa.
Hello.
Yeah, I had a question for Jude.
Okay.
What inspired you to become an author and write your book?
I've always loved reading and writing because I didn't communicate very well verbally as a child. I learned to read and write very quickly, and I would devour books. I love books. I read all the time. My mailman has never stopped delivering me books, and I suppose I just wanted to write my own story because whenever Ethan was young, I kind of learned very quickly that Ethan was asking questions. He's a very clued in child, and I wanted to have an account of my early life and his so he can kind of compare them both, and that's what it became.
That's so nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback what you said about
Amazing.
autistics, talking to other autistics. Like, it feels good, to like have people who understand you, and like you can say, oh, I can relate to that. Like just
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've done a couple of speaking tours, but virtual and in person. And no matter how old the attendees are, whether they're 5 years old or 97 years old, we always have this common ground. It's this unspoken thing that we're all like each other. It's a really, really nice feeling, and it's something I didn't really have growing up, and it's something that I quite like now, and that I'm getting used to. Even people that contact me through my website or author page on Facebook, I answer every single question that comes through to me, and I talk to everyone, and I love hearing people's stories as much as telling my own as well.
Yeah, like I tell everybody this. I love making movies. You know, it's like a talent of mine, and I'm like the tech savvy in the family. Like, you know, my mom calls me a tech savvy because I know how to work the Google Chrome when it was blocking her downloads one time.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like blocking her downloads, and mom's like, I don't know what's going on. And then I know it's irrelevant, but I just wanted to point out, you know, that like people with autism, like Ben says, you know, they're unique and special like a rainbow. And you know, people shouldn't be shy to get their stories out there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No,
because
no, because I mean, with my book, even if it helps and inspires one autistic teenager to accept themselves and not make the mistakes that I did, then it's been a huge success and more than I could ever have imagined whenever I first wrote it.
yeah, I hope I can purchase your book sometime. Like, is it on Amazon? Like, can I purchase it
Yes,
there?
yeah, it's on Amazon, Book Depository, all major online retailers, and it's on every format as well: Kindle, paperback, and audiobook as well.
Okay, I'll make sure to maybe I'll keep in contact with you because I was on the Ben and Jay show panel with autism of law enforcement, and
And we're excited about that next panel because we're gonna be, and can Jude come back to our next panel, Jamiel?
Yeah, of course, of course. If he's available, of course, because you know it's a time difference. But if he's available, we would love to have him back.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
there.
Jude, you're amazing.
All
Thank,
right, we
thank,
got this. We
thank you
got the
so much.
sign off.
And Alyssa, yeah, by all means, keep in contact with me through my Facebook author page, Jude Morrow, author it is on Facebook. Message away there because I do answer them all. I manage my own social media accounts.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I will because I might have a couple questions, you know, but I don't want to take any more of your time. So,
Oh, don't worry, that's what I'm here for. I've got all night.
all right, thank you guys
Speaking
for
of that,
having me again.
Thank you.
no problem, Melissa. You know your family here. Hey, Jude. Matter of fact, what time is it over there in Ireland right now?
It is 9 p.m. Hold on. Whoa, 9.
Wow. Woo, big difference. Big difference than over here. That's crazy. Well, the floor is opened up again. Anybody else have a question for Jude? Hello.
I do.
Hi, Max. What's
Hey,
up?
Max.
I'm at,
What's going on?
Ben, how are you?
Good.
Jude, I was also on the panel last weekend. Again, thank you for speaking with us on the show today. Um, I'm going to be filmed for a small video
Okay.
this week or next, and one of the questions that I will be answering, I would like to ask you, if that's all right with you.
Please.
As you know, over here in Philadelphia and in the as regarding COVID-19 and regarding how we are starting to return to the community in the upcoming months, there is a question that I'm asking and that being asked, and that's if you could give one piece of advice for people on the spectrum as we return to the community in the near future, what would that be?
Ooh.
Good one. Good one.
I think it would be to try and maintain the normality that you know and what you're comfortable with as much as possible. Because I don't deal with change very well. I wouldn't say that I am great and a fountain of knowledge when it comes to managing change, especially in such a thing as COVID-19. But I think with I mean, I don't have any particular concerns or worries about going outside. If anything, it's actually a little bit easier because places tend to be a little bit quieter. And I think, kind of nearly like almost like like the lobster in the pot, like turning up the heat, just going out that little bit more. Uh, as time goes on, as more and more people go out. Because for me, if I stayed in lockdown completely for 12 weeks, I mean, I didn't because I was working through the whole thing, and then went back out to just wham, just everything back to normal, it would be very kind of overwhelming. But I mean, I would say everyone knows their own pace. Use it and don't conform to anyone else's pace. If people want to stay at home and save lives and live in fear, by all means, do so. Enjoy living in fear. You have my complete blessing. Or if you want to go out and socialize, meet friends, mix, and maybe not fear COVID as much as people would like you to, then that's absolutely okay as well.
Okay, thank you. That may very well inspire my own answer to that question when the video is filmed, because I'm just going to just be winging the answers entirely. But that was very helpful. Thank you.
No
Wow,
problem, Max.
that
Thanks
was
for your
that was
question.
powerful. That was a powerful answer, I have to say. Max, congratulations, brother. Congratulations. You're going to do amazing on that video.
Enjoy my answer. Enjoy my answer, Max.
I've been taking notes all this whole time. You better believe I will.
Watch the recording back again.
Definitely give a
Sure.
shout out to Jude on that answer. You got to shout him out on that answer. Your connect from Ireland. You got to shout him out. Oh, man. Thank you, Max.
And make sure to tell them, Max, that my website's judemorrow.com, and his book,
Oh,
Why
sure.
Does Daddy Always Look So Sad, is on all major online retailers.
The floor is open up again. Anybody? Any more questions? Any more?
Oh,
All right. Oh,
Wait,
we got one.
I heard a hello. I heard a hello.
hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Who is it?
Hi, this is Jackie Lots.
Hey, Jackie.
Hello.
Oh, Jackie. Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi,
Jackie.
you have a question for Jude?
I like reading and I like audiobooks. I read audiobooks.
Oh,
do you?
yeah?
Yeah.
I have an audiobook too. It's on Amazon. Cheap plug. I have my audiobook there. I love audiobooks too. What's your favorite?
Soon for the stars.
Oh, I love Treasure Island, Robert Louis Stevenson. That's a good audiobook. And it has all the sea sounds and everything. It has all the sound effects in it. It's great. Check that out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your comment. We appreciate you, and thank you for watching the show. At this time, we definitely want to just thank everybody who was listening. Questions, comments, concerns. We want to get to the raffle. We want to raffle
And then
off
we
these
have a
prizes.
special
So Ben,
announcement at the end, Jamiel. We have two special
oh well, you
announcements.
can do this. Let's do the raffle, and then you can do the special announcement. How about that?
Yep. All right, I will do the two special announcements at the end. All right, here we go. So our first winner is, let's do Philly Pato and then Olive Garden Mass. Our first
There you
winner
go.
is, and I'm waiting for Kaylee to pull it up. And I apologize for those people who haven't gotten their prizes yet in the past couple of weeks. I'm going to mail them out today. If Kaylee can send me those addresses. All right. Me put winner one and winner.
Drum roll.
All right, drum roll, please. The winner one is Isaac Johnson.
Isaac, congratulations, Isaac. Second winner, Ben. Who got that Olive Garden?
Oh, Olive Garden. Oh my word! I better call her on the line because it's actually Isabella Hoffman.
Really? What do you know? Amazing, Isabella. Congratulations.
Wait. Maybe
That
I'll call
is
and say
amazing.
congratulations. You won the Olive Garden gift card.
There
man.
you go. That is amazing. That's
Hold
amazing.
on 1 second.
Congratulations to our winners. If you would like to support what we do here, please consider donating to Access Services at www.accessservices.org
Congratulations.
I am out running in
donate forward slash.
what a fabulous show that
I just want to say congratulations. You won the Olive Garden gift card.
I what? What did I win?
You won an Olive Garden gift card.
I left the show to go run my errand before it was over.
We entered you for a drawing, and you won an Olive Garden gift card.
Don't give it now. Don't give it, Ben.
Look at how blessed I am.
Yes,
All right.
I just had to
There you
call you
go.
and let you know. Yeah, I'm gonna email it to you. I have your email. and we'll send it off to you. Do you want to say anything on the show? I didn't mean to interrupt your errand, but I can call you later.
No, am I on now?
You're on live. Yeah, you're on live.
You're live.
Oh my gosh, I left a few minutes early and I'm sorry that I did. I thought, well, I've got it now. I've got the link. I'm able to look through it. Jude, I thought Jude was amazing. So
Thank you.
satisfying
Thank you.
and enlightening and entertaining, and it just made me cry.
Oh, thank you so much. You're so kind. You're so kind. Can you hear me?
I can.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
I did. So
I'm so glad, and keep in touch.
yeah, so I'll probably listen to it again, and I hope that you're on the show again. I think you have so much to offer, and Ben, I'm thrilled that you're doing this. I think you're doing so much for not just the autism community, but for the world.
Yes,
there you go.
he is.
There you
The
go.
mayor. Yeah.
The mayor, exactly. The mayor.
Congratulations
Exactly.
again, Isabella.
Congratulations.
When you go out, you could do takeout, you could do to go, you can do eat in if you want to, whatever you want to do with it. But
I'll hopefully I'll do it all someday, but we'll see what happens in the short term. I had to sort of take my mask off while I was out here and move away from the building that I was walking into, but just to talk to you on the phone, because times are interesting.
Yeah.
And but thank you.
You're my first actor to ever win this to win a raffle.
Wow. Well, am I one of your first actors who joined the raffle?
Yeah.
Or entered? Oh,
yeah. You're the first one to ever win the Olive Garden gift card.
There you go.
I'm a
there
first.
you go.
That's pretty awesome. Anyway, I'm thank you so very much for such a beautiful show. I was so moved. Jay, I
Jamiel.
guess I'll call you Jamiel. I think you're amazing. And
Thank you.
you two make a dynamic duo. And Jude, you touched my heart. So thank you so much.
And thank you. Keep in touch.
Yes, I would love that.
Thank you.
I would love that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
We love you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well,
She was
ladies
shocked.
and gentlemen, I know she was shocked. That's what we like. That's what we like.
She's like, why? Why'd
Ladies
you
and
call me? I
gentlemen.
said, you won the Olive Garden gift card. And she's like, no, I didn't. I said, yeah, I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just want to say thank you for joining this webinar. Jude, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to us, not only with that adorable accent, and I use that lightly, adorable accent, but also that shirt. I like that shirt. And you know what?
Thanks very much.
I can't wait to come over to Ireland because I'm partying with you. I'm definitely
you
partying
are.
with you.
Oh,
Definitely
you
definitely are. One
I mean-
more time, can you tell the audience how they can get in contact with you and how they can actually purchase your book?
Absolutely. You can reach me through my website, www.judemorrow.com, under the contact part. And for any speaking stuff, there's also a separate page for that. The book itself, Why Does Daddy Always Look So Sad, is available on all major online retailers on paperback, Kindle, and audio, Amazon, Book Depository, and so on and so forth. Jude Morrow author on Facebook, on Instagram at Jude Morrow, and Twitter at Jude Morrow 10, all in one breath, perfectly rehearsed. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jude Morrow, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. We can't stress that enough.
Olive Garden
are inspiration.
in Montgomeryville. Shout out to Olive Garden Darden. You guys are amazing. I would like to thank Philly Pretzel Factory. Shout out to you guys. I also like to thank Access Services. I would like to thank Jude from all the way from Ireland for coming out here on the show today. I would like to thank my friend who just got on the phone, who won. What's her name? Her name is Isabel Hoffman. Thank you so much for doing that. And don't forget to look up Jude website. Why does Daddy always look so sad? It's available on Amazon, and it's also don't forget to go to Jude's website. Jude, what is the website again?
Is www.judemorrow.com.
Absolutely, and we'll make sure we put that on there on the links. And let's be kind to each other this week, guys. Let's go out there. Let's make a community smile. Oh, I forgot the special announcement. Before we go, we have 2 special announcements. One
Okay.
is I'll go for July 9th. We are doing our second panel for the autism, and we are going to work on getting some great speakers to come on. We had a very big success on the last one. We would like to do it again. So if anybody would like to join us July 9th, right at 7 o'clock, same time, we're going to be live here on Zoom. We'll send out the link. We'll get some panelists to come on. And we're basically just going to be talking about like how we can get our community situated with police force and autism and talk about some different stuff. And then check out my man Jamiel Owens' podcast on the Ausome Show, right on Spotify. Tune into his podcast.
Thank you, Ben.
I haven't listened to it yet, but
Hey.
I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Thank you. And before I get out of here, Jude, thank you again. Yes, check us out July 9th. We're actually going to have I'm sorry, yes, we're going to have that panel is going to be invigorating. You want to check that out. You definitely want to check that out. As Ben was saying, too kind and too humble. Yes, the Ausome Show is now a podcast. You can check us out on Spotify. Just look for the Ausome Show. That's TheAusome. But I'm still here and I'm committed to the Ben and Jay Show. So my words of encouragement involve, come here, my buddy, come here, have a seat. My best friend, he's big, but this is stop being goofy. This is my son Shane. This is my heart. And say hi to everybody. Say hi to the world. Hi. So remember when I said that Jesus left the 99 to go get the one? Please get the one. He is the one. Jude is the one. Ben is the one. Please get the one. They matter. They matter to me. They matter to everybody. All right. So this is my heart right here. I love him to death. He's goofy.
Yes, sir.
But
your son's visiting you today? Hey, maybe we can go grab ice cream later or something.
Maybe can definitely give us a call. But definitely, everybody just love one another, and let's just get through this. All right. So this is the Ben and Jay Show. We signing
Tell
off.
your mom I said hi. Your mom's the best, and and Jamel's the best too. I gotta say that.
We love you guys. Jude, thank you, brother. We'll talk to you soon, man. Appreciate
No problem.
you.
See you guys.
See ya.
Peace.
Peace.
That was great. Loved it.